Are you curious about building a fulfilling and motivating career? Do you dream of starting your own business, but you feel unsure where to begin? Or maybe you're just a young professional who's keen on building a strong professional brand. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new video from CareersTalks, where I talk to professionals in the tech, consulting, and finance industries about their careers and job responsibilities. In this video, I interview a very motivating guest, Mary Agbesanwa. Mary founded her own business and community called the Now You're Talking Network, which is a community of 1,500 women that is aimed at supporting young female professionals build their professional brand and find the right job opportunities. Mary is also the program leader and learning facilitator for leadership and finance courses at the Imperial College Business School and the Wharton School. Mary has done a lot more throughout her career. So, in this video, I ask her about her motivations, what advice does she have for young professionals who are keen on building their professional brand, and what advice does she have for anyone who is interested in starting their own business. Share this episode with your friends and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Mary, I see that in your career you're pretty dynamic, right? You've always been an active community member. You started your own community, now you're talking community, talking at many conferences. So where does this motivation come from? Even earlier at uni, I realized that you were still active, doing the coding courses, competitions. So where does that energy or motivation, where does it come from?
It's a good question. I think I'm generally quite an internally motivated person.
Nice.
I can motivate myself to do things, which I think is good. I also think I get really frustrated when I don't see communities or initiatives exist. And my kind of go-to is, okay, I'll just create it.
Nice.
And maybe sometimes I get too excited and too many distracted with too many different things. But yeah, it's really that. It's just seeing a pain point that people have and wanting to construct a solution around it. So as you said, when I was at university, in my first year studying economics, I saw that when I was applying to loads of the spring weeks that the guys on my course were doing the same, but the women weren't. And I was talking to them and they were saying, oh, finance is, I'm not going to fit in, or there aren't many women that work in banking, and things that I just knew weren't true. So I set up the Women in Finance Society, just got 30 signatories. And it was really fun because we created a safe space for women to come together at the university to learn from financial services firms, to understand what it's like to work in those companies, to know that you don't necessarily need to be mathsy, you don't need to have done economics, maths, or whatever. You can even have done a humanities subjects. And so, yeah, it's really just finding a pain point and then building a solution out of it. And similar with the Now You're Talking network, I probably just had a bit of FOMO from launching the Women in Finance Society at University of Birmingham. I came to London, I was working at PwC, and I was going to so many events after work. And people kept asking me, oh, which event are you going to tonight? And I found that I was sending the same link to like multiple people, and it was just annoying. So I just set up a WhatsApp group of 50 of my friends that were working and living in London, and working in like tech, professional services, financial services. And I guess 6-7 years later, now we're like a community of 1,500 women around the UK. We also are official business, so we also run workshops on topics like personal branding, battling imposter syndrome, finding your career confidence, salary negotiation for our members, but also for corporates as well.
Nice.
But yeah, again, it was the pain point and then building a solution around it. And I never thought, oh, I'm going to start a business or I'm going to start a community. I just was so frustrated that these spaces didn't exist that I just felt like I had to do something about it.
And I think community building is just a great way of learning and sharing experiences.
Completely agree.
It's not always like you don't always find these communities when these gaps exist, like Women in Finance, for example. So I really like that you focus on community building first, and then on top of that you offer these services. So what I'd like to really know more about personally as well, I'm very interested in that, is how do you manage work with, now you're talking network, like, or maybe what tips do you have for people who are interested in starting a side project? Yeah, how what mechanisms do you use to...
It's another great question. What do I think? So I've always been passionate about the idea of having a side hustle, probably because I've always been like a multi-passionate, multi-interested person. I did IB at school, which is the International Baccalaureate. So I did 6 subjects instead of like 3 or 4. And I've always been interested in like learning and doing multiple things. And I also went to boarding school where there was a strong focus on being a good all-rounder, so doing sports and music and academics and everything and volunteering. So I've kind of kept that true to myself. In addition, like I think now 1 in 3 adults in the UK has a side hustle. So a lot of people are looking to side hustles as a way to earn additional income, but also to build new skills, to pick up hobbies that they can't do in their day job.
Impact
the
community around them.
And I feel like everyone I know that has a side hustle is more fulfilled as a person. They feel like they are able to tap into either their creativity or to other passions or earn additional income to support the lifestyle that they want. And I think that's really important. In terms of how to manage time and everything, I don't have any kind of magic formula apart from just being super, super organized. Like at last count, I had like 10 maybe side hustles. And I've really learned the importance of like being super organized, managing your time. Like I have like calendars integrated, organized, color coded, and also just like understanding why you're getting into something. Don't just have a side hustle because you want to do it because everyone else is doing it, but what is your exit plan, or are you doing this, what is the intention with this? Are you doing it to learn a new skill and then you're going to stop? Or are you doing it to make a certain amount of money and then you're going to stop? Like, I think having the intention in mind really helps, and also prevents some of the burnout that can easily happen if you're spreading yourself kind of so thin.
That intention point is key, I think. Not easy to figure it out as soon as you start, but definitely agree that do something you're passionate about. Otherwise, you won't be willing to contribute as much compared to something that you're very interested in and willing to be able to also give others. Like if you're an expert in something, that might even help you to establish a community around it, like your case, right? Where you went through these challenges and you were able to see where the gaps are and how can I help these millennial females build their professional brand, grow their careers. So I definitely agree on that point. I've also seen that you sit on the board of a charity called Girlguiding. Can you tell us a bit more? What do they do and how are you contributing to their mission?
Sure thing. So I've been on the board for Girlguiding for about 2 years, 2.5 years, and I was so they are the UK's largest charity for young women. So they focus on they're also known as the Guides or the Brownies or the Rainbows, and they focus on helping young women build life skills and personal development. So they take young girls out for trips camping, they hold mini festivals, they do like weekly activities in different centres around the UK. There's over 300,000 girl guides around the UK, which is amazing. And I was a brownie and a guide when I was growing up, and it was a big part of me believing in the power of sisterhood and collaboration. And actually I got messaged by a recruiter the charity was using, that they were looking for a new board member. And I thought, I've only ever been on a youth board and I wasn't sure whether to apply, but I just decided to apply. And I went through the interview process, a couple of interviews, an application form, and I luckily got it. And it has been so amazing. So my role is I'm a trustee for the charity, and that means that I'm working on the kind of operational and governance and the strategy for the charity to make sure it fulfills its mission and that it uses its funds in the right way. And I sit on the board alongside about 11 other trustees. really interesting. We have quarterly meetings, we engage with the staff, we make strategic decisions for the charity. And I've learned so much from doing it. And I think the reason why I joined was because having left consulting, I was really looking for a role where I could still have that kind of bird's eye view, objective perspective on a charity or a company. And Girlguiding is pretty big, so you really get that overview of like, how do we make decisions that benefits the young girls, but also use the funds, etc., appropriately. So it's been a great experience. I'm really enjoying it. I would definitely recommend that more young people join boards of charities and businesses. It's a great way for you to utilize your skills, build your confidence. And I think the average age of a charity trustee in the UK is like 50 something. So we need loads more young people, loads more people with diverse experiences to bring insights into charities. I think it's really important.
Yeah. Given you've worked with a lot of young people, you've seen the challenges they face or some of the doubts they have. What advice do you have for people in uni just starting, or someone like me who's a year in, whether it's for females or maybe like just for young people starting their career? How do you build your professional brand? Like, what should you focus on in terms of, should I focus on skills, or like, what specific tips do you have for people that want to build their professional brand, basically?
Yeah, I think that if you're young and thinking about building your professional brand, I think it's always important to start off with what we said earlier, which is, what are you interested in? What are you excited about? What will you read in the Financial Times as soon as you see it? What articles do you gravitate to in The Economist or on the BBC website? And start there. So for me, I think it's always useful to start off with like 3 words or phrases that you want to align your personal or professional brand with. For me, that's careers, that's female empowerment, and that's fintech. So anything related to those things, I'm interested and I'm passionate about. And I want people to see that those are my areas of expertise. So I would say start there. And then I think it's really important to do things like this, content creation, build content around the things that you're passionate about. I think content is so good because through the building of the content, you learn new skills. And also you can attract the right community around you. And also you build your confidence, creating content and putting it out there as well. Like I started off being a careers blogger, writing on Medium, and that really helped me to
millennials daily, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that really helped me like reflect on my career as I was navigating consulting. I love writing so much and sharing it with people and getting their thoughts and having interesting discussions. So I think it's really important to understand what 3 words or phrases you want people to think about when they know you and your work, and then also just create content, believe in yourself around that as well.
I like that. Very practical tip. Just 3 words or 3 themes. Focus on them. You don't have to be an expert, but slowly with time you build that network community around them. You understand what are the gaps, and then you get to know if you really are interested in all these 3. Maybe you want to shift one of the words, like you understand your interests better. One last question is, throughout your career, I'm pretty sure you've learned a lot. You've seen many different people. What's one key lesson that you'd like to share, or maybe one thing that you wish you've done differently?
I think I would like to share that ultimately, particularly for the students listening and the young professionals, that life is pretty long. I think that a lot of the Gen Z and millennials that I speak to and that are in the Now You're Talking network, sometimes there's this like fear that you haven't achieved enough. You're like, oh, I'm not 30 under Forbes 30 under 30, or I haven't done this, or have I made my parents proud, or all these kind of things. But life is ultimately long. Like we probably might be working for at least 40 years. So
before AI.
Exactly, before AI takes our job. So it's really important to like manage your energy accordingly, and actually just take this attitude of experimentation. Never feel like you're stuck in a box in a sector. Utilize your network, Be brave. I think that's really important, because I find that when you start having that mindset that life is short and time is running out, and oh my god, you're 30 and like you haven't done anything, that's all a lie. There's so many great things that you can go on to achieve.
I definitely agree. There's a lot of pressure on people my age, a bit younger, a bit older, that with all these technologies, with all these changes, you really feel you need to be really up to date, understanding all the trends that are happening, which I don't believe that's the case. Like, definitely, as you said, focus on specific things, try to learn more about them, and with time you get to know your interests. Mary, really, it was a pleasure having you. Thanks a lot for your time. I really enjoyed the conversation. And don't forget to watch the next episode at Careers Talks, and like and subscribe.